This is Podco Media Networks.
On episode 132 of Confessions of a Marketer, building a business on SEO. Hi, it's Mark Reed Edwards. Welcome back to Confessions of a Marketer. Joe Auer, who founded Mattress Clarity, is back in to talk about SEO this time. We go in deep. We'll get to that in a sec. Soon, Jocelyn Kopak will be in to talk about building a great brand. In the weeks and months ahead, we are planning discussions with Catherine Hayes, Maggie Fox, Amanda Slavin, Vincenzo Landino, Mark Schaefer, and a cast of thousands. We've got lots of interviews lined up for the next several months, and we're booked all the way through mid-year. All right, back to Joe Auer. This time, we dig into SEO, his YouTube strategy, and where he sees SEO and content headed in the years ahead. He starts off with his secrets to SEO success and how he built his business on SEO. Let's get to it. Let's talk about SEO. What are your secrets to SEO success and how you built your business on SEO?
So I think we started kind of at an interesting time where things were shifting, where prior to 2012, there were a lot of things you could do where you could be very successful very quickly. You could, for example, pay someone to go get you 1,000 backlinks that were really low quality, but the link said a certain text, and all of a sudden you would just rank at the top. It's not like what Google wanted to rank at the top, but it was easy to basically kind of game the system, I guess. And so what Google's trying to do is produce the best results. And so they weren't doing that. And slowly they've gotten better at figuring out who deserves to be the best. And so we were at this kind of transition moment where we kind of started seeing that happening. And we said, why don't we look to what Google is heading towards and work towards that rather than looking at what's currently working, which may not work in the future. So if there's a certain type of link that we can get to our site that may help us now, but we feel not quite right about it for the future, let's maybe not do that. So we don't look for any shortcuts. We don't do anything spammy or anything that might work in the short term, but not in the long term. I think we also focus a lot on building our brand rather than doing specifically SEO work, because I think building the brand is SEO now.
Yeah.
So things like just having amazing content, having great social media presence, having very good YouTube videos as well can be just as good as being really good at getting links to your site. So we overinvest in the quality of our content, basically say we want the majority of people to look at the mattress space or whatever space we're in and say, our site is definitely the most in-depth, most informative. That's kind of our litmus test to know that we're doing the right things. And then as far as if you want to do well on SEO, you have to get links to your site. That's just kind of how it works. And so we just work very hard to get links that we feel will be very highly trusted. And that's kind of our philosophy around.
Yeah. And your site is comprehensive. You click on a review of a mattress and it's not just packed with keywords, which some people thought that's what SEO meant. Mm-hmm. And really the recent changes that Google has done, I'm sure there's more detail to it, but as far as I can understand, is to skew toward content like yours that's authoritative and that is comprehensive and isn't packed with keywords just to game the system.
That's exactly right. So there's been a lot of updates that have happened in the past 2 years that have been sort of quality focused. So if a site has a bunch of ads and it's kind of a bad user experience, for example, they will probably have not done as well over the past 2 years. If a site is talking about a certain health topic and it's written by someone who has no expertise on the subject, they're probably maybe could have done well in the past, but not really so much anymore. So all the updates that have happened over the past 2 years have really focused in on just producing the most quality results based on a number of factors. So the days of like keyword stuffing and making sure like these little technical things, putting your keyword in the header in a certain way, that kind of stuff is mattering a lot less. And it's more kind of a holistic approach of figuring out what is actually the most authoritative content out there.
Yeah, one of the enjoyable things about your site is the videos, and I looked at your YouTube channel. Can you tell me about how YouTube plays into your overall marketing strategy, and how many videos you've produced, and how you go about producing them. I'm kind of interested in getting under the hood about that stuff.
I think we started our YouTube channel thinking that, so one of the metrics to do well on SEO is basically how much time people spend on a page. So if someone clicks on a result and spends 10 seconds on a page and then bounces off of the site, that's probably a bad sign. But if they spend 10 minutes on the page, then they probably really like the content. And so we thought if we embedded a really nice video on a page, that would really help with our time on page. So it was more of like helping out with our SEO efforts. However, we kind of noticed that people were skipping Google and going straight to YouTube in the mattress industry. They want to see not just a written review, but actually a video review. So they were using YouTube as a search engine instead.
Yeah.
And then we see that within YouTube, you have the suggested videos on the right-hand side. There's also the videos that they suggest for you on the homepage, which is called browse features. And so we just saw that YouTube was becoming this very big thing with mattresses. And so we decided if we're going to go big on YouTube, we might as well figure out how to do well on YouTube and make the best possible videos. So we hired someone who's been a videographer for a while, and we kind of analyzed how we can make the best possible YouTube videos, just in general, and then also like how the YouTube algorithm will kind of analyze which ones should do well. And so we put out about 4 videos a week now. And I think, if you look at some of our initial videos where it's just Kenny on his iPhone shooting me and then it was just very, very poor quality video compared to now it's like night and day. So in order to do well on YouTube in general, again, you can get views from YouTube search, the suggested videos on the right-hand side, or these browse features, which is just like on the homepage. And a lot of views come from that as well. And so you try to maximize what's called audience retention. So like 100% audience retention is every single person watched the entire video. 0% would be they just bounced off immediately. So you want the number of people who watch more and more of the video to be like as high as possible. So we do a lot to kind of format the videos so that you don't get bored, which is definitely a threat with mattresses. If I'm just kind of going on and on for 3 minutes about mattress firmness or something, you might say, this is kind of boring. I'm not going to watch this anymore. So we try to have really good graphics come in and just have the format be such that it doesn't get boring. And I guess I'm a little biased and I'm probably too in it to know how bored people get, but we can see the audience retention stats, and we've seen it steadily go up as we've kind of focused on this. And then the thumbnail, so just the kind of quick little picture you see on the side should be very attractive as well. It shouldn't be like too clickbaity, but you want people to see your video thumbnail and then actually click on it as well. So engagement is probably the last thing. So you want people to like your video. You want them to comment on it, because YouTube would probably say if there's no comments on a video and it has 30,000 views, like people probably didn't like it very much. So we do a lot to try to maximize engagement. Sometimes we'll just ask questions in the middle of the video, say, let us know in the comments, things like that. We have a monthly giveaway that can kind of drum up some likes and comments as well. So we try to make it as good as possible, just in general, try to maximize those audience kind of retention stats, maximize engagement as well, and make sure our thumbnails look really nice. And if you do that, you should do a pretty good job. We're not the type of YouTube channel that can get a lot of subscribers, because usually you'll kind of make that purchase and then you'll do your research, make that purchase, and then you probably don't need to keep looking at mattress videos unless you really love me for some reason. But which maybe happened once or twice. I don't know. Maybe just my luck. But so that's not necessarily our goal with YouTube. Is not really subscribers. It's more just kind of maximizing views. That's kind of how we've thought about YouTube in general.
So what's your business model? Do you get a referral fee? How does it all work?
Yeah, so it's partly, we do have some ads, some digital ads, like you see like the sidebar. Occasionally in the content there'll be ads. And then it's also, referral fee with like whoever we're talking about at the time. So if it's a review of Casper, for example, and we have a link, there'll be a referral fee if someone ends up like making a purchase. So it's called affiliate marketing in general.
Yep. I want to talk a little bit about the future and get your advice for my listeners as we look at the future of SEO and content marketing and marketing in general? Where do you see it heading in the years ahead? Do you think that the quality of content will need to get better? Say, look out a year or two from now. What do you think you'll be focusing on at Mattress Clarity? And what do you advise people to do as far as SEO and content goes in the next year or two?
Sure. I would say, I've kind of alluded to this earlier, but I'd say building a brand might end up being more important than just getting links. So if you have like the best YouTube channel and you're in a sort of review space like mattress reviews, you may end up doing very well in SEO just from just the benefits of having that YouTube channel. So I think in the past, it was all about who gets the best quality links. And now I think it's more of this kind of holistic brand approach. So links are always going to be important, but depending on what you're doing, like you may have a podcast or really good social media or a really good YouTube channel, anything that can get people excited about your brand, I think is going to be more and more important. Because, Google knows that people can buy links, you can kind of game the system with links, but having a good authentic brand is very hard to fake. So I think because of that reason, it's just going to be that much more important. And there is a metric you can look at to kind of analyze your brand. It's really just like the number of people that are searching for your brand each month, which is available in Google's Search Console. And so if you get that to go up every month, then you're probably going to be in pretty good shape, I would say. We've seen a number of shifts with these updates that have happened over the past 2 years, especially kind of anything like health related, where content needs to be written by like legitimate experts. So you may think that you're the number one expert on the topic. Like, I think I'm pretty smart about mattresses, but you need to prove to Google that you are. So if no one ever quotes you, that's probably bad. If no one ever searches for your name, that's probably bad. So I would say either if the person writing it, or you can also have someone who's an expert review the content. That's what Google's looking to see. And I think that's going to be the case going forward. So you need to do whatever you can to just prove that you're a legitimate expert. That could just be getting quoted in respective publications, or just really doing anything to get your name out there and associated with your industry is what I would recommend. And I would say the link building tactics from the past won't work so well. It does seem like Google's able to pick up on what type of links have maybe been paid for, or have just been gotten for SEO purposes and sort of no like true value. So a link that actually gets people to read the article and then click on the link and go over to your site is going to be super valuable. And then if a link is on a page that doesn't get any traffic and no one actually clicks over to your site, that's probably going to have a lot less value going forward. And that definitely has worked in the past. And I think in the future, that's probably not going to work so much. And then again, the things you mentioned, just like overall quality, having like time on page, people like going on multiple pages of your site rather than just hitting one page and kind of bouncing out. I think that stuff is going to be much more important going forward. And so basically, I think they're heading in the right direction, where they are producing more and more better results. And I think that's just going to be the case going forward.
Well, Joe, this has been really interesting. When I put my head on my pillow tonight, I'll think about my mattress a bit more than I did last night. So I really appreciate you joining me.
Yeah, it was fun.
Yeah, it was great. And have a good night's sleep.
Yeah, thank you very much.
All right, next time, Jocelyn Kopak on building a great brand. So stay tuned. Confessions of a Marketer is a trademark of Podco Media Networks, and this episode is copyright 2020. I'm Mark Reed Edwards. See you next time.